You know, the whole reason I wasn't a 49ers fan or a Patriots fan was because I can't stand Tom Brady. I don't even have a valid reason why I don't like him. I just don't like him. I don't I honestly don't know why. Um, and it goes before Deflategate, so I don't know. But now, my other than my divisional enemies, the Buccaneers are now my least favorite team in the NFL. Okay, so I'm just getting this out here. 1 second. All right, so have you guys been seeing the behind the scenes posts that have been going up? Like not all the cast and crew, but Liam has been posting a lot. I like the ones that were like the set days where they paid for people to come and like do food. I think Chris Marshall did ice cream, and I don't know. I just think that's such a fun idea. How cool! I'm gonna go back to you now because I'm not even on that screen. Yeah, I know we went to Tampa and won again. That's why they're my least favorite team. What's been your favorite behind the scenes shot that you've seen so far? I think mine were the food ones. I just think that's so neat. Charlotte. Oh yeah, I just saw the Charlotte and Allison one today. Now remind me who Lennox is because I don't know the new characters. I don't know their real names yet. But I did really, really like the beach scenes that I saw today. I don't know if they came out today, but I saw what the sisterhood posted today. Shirtless. Beach scenes filming with Charlotte filming at Caldecott Castle. Do you have any theories about what's going to be in Caldecott Castle, or do you think that's where Sanditon House is? Love interest number 2. Okay. That Lennox is love interest number 2. All right, so we got it out there. We got it on our Facebook. We got it on our Twitter. We got it all on our IG. Possibly. I don't know if we actually did it or not. Alex. Who's Alex now? Oh, that's the castle's the military set. Which one is Alex is the other love interest? Okay. I love Ben Lloyd Hughes. That one I know. I know him. I don't know. I think he's not like, no, when I say cute, I don't mean like, oh, you're so cute. When I say cute, I just genuinely mean like, oh, I don't know. There's something about you that I just really, really enjoy. Okay. I just want to make sure that our post went live on our Facebook. Lennox is Tom Weston Jones. I'm trying to picture him in my head. I'm going to look him up. That's the benefit of live streaming, is that I can look things up on a computer. If you are on YouTube, I can't really see who you are and you want to chat with us, go ahead and go into the chats. And I'm trying to multitask here and watch both. Tom Weston Jones. I'm going to look him up. I feel like I know which one he looks like. Oh, thank you. Yeah, share the live show. The more people we have, the more fun it is, the more interactive it is. I really appreciate you guys. You guys have been on, I think, every live show I've done, and I really appreciate that. And I know that Janice Castle usually does a lot of them with me too, but she is in Kansas. Oh, yep. Okay, Thomas and Jost. Yep, I did. That's the guy I thought it was. I'm gonna have to learn the names eventually, aren't I? Almost as well as I know the other people. So remember, if you are on Podbean and you are listening to this live, you won't be able to hear this on the recording when we publish the recording. But if you're listening live on Podbean, you can call in and I'll answer your call, and then we can chat for a few minutes, and then someone else can call in, or no one can call in. I can just talk at you guys while you're using the chat. But for YouTube's benefit, because I'm also live on YouTube, I will be reading the comments in Podbean and the comments on YouTube, so you guys can hear that. So seeing the scene with Allison on the beach, or it was in that same grouping that Sanditon posted, where there's a guy riding down the beach on a horse, and you see it's one of the cameramen had posted it, or the camera company, I'm not sure which, but they're filming him as he rides on the beach. Do you think that is Tom Weston Jones, who is Lennox, right? So I know that I put this in the group. You think it's Alex Colborn? Okay. Okay. Now, based just on the pictures we've seen, do you guys like have a favorite for Charlotte so far? Because I'm guessing Allison's gonna kind of fall for Militia, but I don't know that we're gonna focus as much as we think on Allison. I hope not, because I want to see like their strong female sides come out too, not just solely dependent on the love interest. Hard, yeah, I think it's hard to say too. Sarah, yeah, for sure. Lennox is Marianne's favorite. Allison is falling for Captain Carter. Yeah, I saw that in the description that he was going to be kind of her love interest, but I wonder if she's actually going to do that, or if she's going to be a little more follow a little more independently. Because I was thinking about this, and I think that Georgiana is, I think she's the same age as Charlotte, but in terms of maturity, she's younger than Charlotte, I think. I hope, and we've said this before on our episodes, that I hope to see her mature, and I hope to see her, yeah, she's younger, but not by a lot, I don't think. But I hope to see Georgiana matured when we enter into season 2 and season 3. And I'm wondering if her and Allison are going to connect a little bit more, while Charlotte kind of connects more with Mary. Just because I feel like, just as it stood, I felt maturity-wise that they might, and obviously we don't know anything about Allison. What we saw in season 1 was basically nothing. But I just think that watching Charlotte and Georgiana's interactions, as it was at the end of season 1, like the whole relationship, I just felt like it just felt unequal. If Georgiana matures a lot, I think it'll be a better match. But I wonder if her and Allison are gonna really click. So I'm curious if she is going to try to be a strong female support, or if I'm talking about Allison here, or if she's going to go the love marriage mark. Yeah, they were 3 years apart. But back then, that's not really. I mean, once you hit 16 in that time period, it's kind of all the same age, except for the older you get, the more on the shelf you get. I love that scene in Pride and Prejudice where she's complaining about her age and she's not yet 21. Like, well, I'm 2 years shy of 40, and I don't feel old yet. So it's interesting how that's changed, how that's operated, and how that's grown over the years. Milo and Silo, hello. We are talking the characters right now in Sanditon. So what are some other things that you guys have seen come out? Because I don't think I'm catching everything. I have so many. I'm a volleyball coach too, so I split my time between coaching volleyball and our other podcast. A balloon ride? How did I miss that? Man, I need to. Sad that I'm saying this, but I need to spend a lot more time on social media, because I feel like I'm missing so many pictures and so many images. When the sisterhood shared the behind the scenes stuff, and I saw that today, I was floored by what I saw. Yeah, I did see the tons of horses. There was someone who, I think I shared it in our Facebook group. There was someone on there who was walking the grounds of the castle, and they were taking a video of what the castle looked like and all around. And I thought that was spectacular. I wish I had like a summer home, or a summer home in England, and I could just go over there and hang out for the summer and watch people film movies. Specifically this one, that would be amazing. Sarah said there's an article in the Daily Mail with tons of behind the scenes pics, and one of the pictures was of a hot air balloon on the beach. You know, I subscribe, or I'm on Snapchat. And the main reason I don't do anything on Snapchat, I just read the stories of the pages I subscribe to. Daily Mail is when I subscribe to it. I haven't seen that at all. I'm going to have to go search for that now. I'm going to write it down. Someone was on a vacation on the beach and took a video and put it on YouTube. Oh, man, I'm going to have to look that one up too. Okay. Pardon me. I'm going to take a screenshot of this because I don't always see the comments after I publish it. So I'm gonna take because I'm gonna need to look this all up tonight. This is gonna be my night. Is just trying to sleuth for the behind the scenes pictures. Okay, got that. So, what are your thoughts about Sanditon, guys? I know that they gave us their synopsis. I did have a interesting conversation with a fan of Sanditon, and she had reached out to us via email, and she had said that she was trying to stay off of social media as it pertains to Sanditon because she was trying to be as surprised as possible and to start from the beginning like she did with Sanditon season 1. So, and I thought that was a really, I don't think I could do that because I'm too impatient. And like, if I'm reading a book and I'm really into it, I get really connected with the characters, and there's a chance that the main character might die, I have to read the end to make sure they're okay. And then I can go back and calmly read the rest of the book. I'm that person who reads the end. So like, I like to know, but I thought that was a really good idea to just let it be a total surprise of what's going to happen, who's going to be there. She hasn't even read the synopsis, so she's not even sure what's going on, but she wants it to kind of come organically with that. Are you guys doing any of that? Because I know some of you are telling me on the behind the scenes stuff that you're finding, and I think that's not unpopular opinion, but I think that most of the Sanditon sisterhood, most of the fandom for Sanditon is sleuthing and is trying to find everything they can. I am one of those people right there. I'm one of them, and I agree, Marianne and Sarah. I cannot wait for the new seasons. I just love what they're able to do, and I think that especially with writers like Justin and people on set like Liam and Paula who care so much for the fandom and are so connected to the fandom. I mean, Justin's not really that connected to the fandom. There are some theories that he's in an account that doesn't have his name on it, but they're so connected to the fandom and they hear us so well that all the people who are complaining about and it's not really a complaint, it's just they're grieving, they're lamenting that Theo James is not coming back. That is Liam and Paula and Justin are the sole reason why I'm so confident that these seasons 2 and 3 are going to be great, because they're in touch with the fan base and I mean, they need us to like it in order for the show to be a success. But they also have, I mean, the reason we like it is because of Jane Austen. The reason we like it is because of the type of storyline, and that I think that they're going to do a really, really, really excellent job giving us exactly what we need and exactly the way that's going to soothe our hearts, but also is going to be a great new storyline. Sarah, it's not confirmed he has another account. There's been some fans that I've talked to via email and on our podcast that have thought that, or have heard theories, or they have their own theory that Justin is an account. He's posting on Twitter from an account that doesn't have his name on it. I don't know what name it is, and I don't want to know because I don't think that will be able to be confirmed. But there are some people who have some theories that that's what he's doing, but I don't know. It can't be proved, so. I know, Sarah, I need the behind the scenes pictures to keep going too. I really, really do. I mean, Liam Hoops is pretty busy too, and so is Paula. So we have some people who think that he's too busy. I hadn't even thought about it until someone had brought it up to me. Like, oh, maybe. And I don't know what made them think that it was Justin tweeting from that account. I have no idea. But they said that they had a feeling that's who it was. But I think that sorry, I was reading something that popped up in the chat. I'm like a goldfish. So my team lost today and I still have COVID brain, and so it's just like, woo. Oh, you've heard that too, Marianne, that he's from a different account. And I don't even know what the name of this account is that people think is him. I have no idea. Milos, I would say any tips for a new guy and partner coming soon? You mean the 2 new guys for Charlotte and Sanditon? Is that what you mean? I don't know if you want me to call you Milo or Silo, but you let me know. Or you want me to, or I can just keep saying your full name too. That's okay. Your full on screen name. I don't know. I think it's very likely that at least one of Charlotte's love interests, Milo. Okay. Is that what you mean between one of her 2 love interests in Sanditon? But I think one of them is going to be angsty, and I think one of them is going to be a little more sweet and kind. Marianne said in the YouTube video, you can hear Arthur yelling, Charles. Okay, Milo, that's not what do you mean, Milo, by any tips for a new guy and partner coming soon? I'm excited to see Arthur back. I'm a little surprised. I mean, I understand why, but I'm a little surprised that Diana's not going to be back. I'm wondering how. I mean, I'm kind of glad actually to see Arthur kind of be on his own, but I'm curious how that's going to pan out. Yeah, she absolutely could be for season 3, but for season 2, I don't think she's in it. I mean, but the other aspect is she hasn't said she's not in it. She just hasn't been confirmed that she is in it. And I think that it's just I know that a lot of us, and probably me a little bit too, assume that if they haven't and they haven't like broadcast on their social media and they're active on social media, if they haven't broadcast that they're returning, then they probably aren't returning. Is just, I think, an assumption. I hope Mark Stanley makes at least an appearance because he is my favorite guy. And let me tell you, I cannot wait to talk about him and Hester. Milo is asking new tips for Beginners One podcast. Milo, if you'd like, you can reach out to me via email, and I can have a conversation with you about how that happens and how we did it and how we promote and all the things we do to try to promote our show and get listeners. So if you want, you can email us at the.sanditon, that's Sanditon Chronicles@gmail.com, and we can have a conversation about it that way. Yeah, I think, Sarah, I think too that there's got to be cameos, right? I mean, for a while I was holding out hope that Theo James was going to do it, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think that, especially because Esther's married to Babington, there's got to be, I don't know. See, here's my dilemma. My dilemma is that these actors, I mean, Mark Stanley is good enough. Like, he was in Game of Thrones. He's got a huge list of things he's been in. And I think that with the love surrounding these people, that they've got even more work after Sanditon. And I think that it's been so long since they've been in Sanditon that there's a lot of other projects. Like, when I was originally reaching out to the cast and crew, I heard a lot that they don't have time to talk because they have moved on or they've gone on to other projects, or they're currently working on a different project. So I think that a cameo, in my head, a cameo shouldn't take a lot of time. But I think it depends on their filming schedule and where they're filming and what they're doing. But I do know that Alexandra Roach, who plays Diana Parker, she in Bath? She in Brighton recently. She was in one of those places recently. It was a really sweet picture on Instagram of her holding her baby. And I wish France. Maybe, is that what it was? Was France? I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, there it is. Oh, she didn't even say in there where she was. How'd you know she was in France? You guys are much better at the sleuthing than I am. Oh, because the picture before that says it was France. That simply said like to go. But so I see that she's on vacation, and I don't know like how easy it would be. Yeah, I just saw that Marianne in one of her pictures. I don't know how easy it would be for them to go from one country to another to kind of slip in and out. But in my head, it should be easy. You just come in there for a minute or two. But even after talking with Ollie Blackburn, there's so much that goes into even a single scene that it's hard. But I do hope we see Diana. I hope we see Babington. I doubt we're going to see James Stringer. I think he's all done. And we're clearly not going to see Theo James. So I mean, those are the two who I think are definite not to come back. But I think it's entirely plausible to think that Babington will come back and Diana. Mrs. Griffiths, I think, yeah, absolutely. No Theo. Mrs. Griffiths, I'm not sure because it's only originally we were thinking they were going to time jump to a couple years ahead, so that Georgiana is no longer in need of a companion and she's no longer in need of a guardian. But since they're only going 9 months ahead, she still has to have somebody. Yeah, I know they're only 9 months ahead, but before they had come out and told us the plot, before we knew all the other people, we were thinking that they would make it so that she was of age. So if they're only going 9 months ahead, I don't know that she will. Well, I wonder if Marianne says that on the PBS passport trailer, it still shows Mrs. Griffith's house. I think what goes into play there is when that trailer was made, what footage they used. If they did it before they started filming, they probably recycled some of the stuff from season 1. But I don't know if this is a new passport trailer that you're talking about, Marianne. But they could have pulled old footage. And Mrs. Griffiths, I mean, it was a plaque that was above her door, so she's probably still going to be there in the town, but I don't know that we'll see her on screen. Well, yeah, no Theo new trailer because he's done. And I had when I first reached out to his agent and I got a message back was in April. And his agent had told me he moved on. I remember going to my team saying, "Does this mean what I think it means?" And we were all really bummed. And then we had to wait and hope and pray, and it was exactly what we thought it was. But yeah, he's not gonna be in the trailer. But I think that I don't think that they would pull things in the new trailer that won't be in there. But I think Mrs. Griffith's house is part of the town, so if her house is in there, I mean, the placard was still above her door, and it's still a business in Sanditon. So I think the business will still be there, but I don't know whether or not she'll be there because she hasn't said anything either. Actually, I think her agent might have been one who told me she moved on. Maybe. I think. So who is doing, have you guys done a rewatch recently? I try to, when we do our recap videos, and now that we are on hold for the celebrity interviews, which we're hoping will come back soon because I miss those, and I know that you guys miss the celebrity or the cast and crew interviews. But I try to rewatch one episode before I watch or before we do the recap. So I'm only doing one at a time, whereas before I would just binge watch all 8 of them and then turn it on rewind and just keep doing that. That's what I did for like a year. Marianne, you haven't, but Spread QI, is your name Nicole? I cannot, I'm so sorry. I'm really bad with names. I was at church and someone got really mad at me because I was like, "What's your name again?" We met like 4 times. Lindsay. I'm gonna remember that next time. But I got she was very upset with me that I didn't remember her name when we met like 4 different times. So I'm sorry. I'm really bad with names. Do you guys have a favorite episode of the season 1? Episode 7? That's, yeah, I think that, I don't know if it's 7 or 5 is my favorite. Because 5 has so much of the nonverbal, which is right up my alley, that I absolutely love. That is really meaningful, really intense, really good. 7 has so much of that too, and there's angst and there's more characters. But I like seeing that build between Charlotte and Sydney. Yeah, I do. Sarah says honestly, from 5 to the end are my faves. Absolutely. Like, it's really hard. I really like all of them. 1, I would say that 1 is probably my least favorite, but it's not to say I don't like it. It's just because, that's the introduction of everything. So you don't really get all the pull from all these things. So it's not as good as the others, but it's still fantastic. So I think I have a really hard time. And every time we do a recap video, I start off saying, this is one of my favorites, or this is my favorite. Because they all are. Yes, Sarah, exactly. Sarah just said, honestly, love all episodes. Lindsay said 4 is probably her least. That's also Janet Castle's least. She does the recaps with me. That's, yeah, because we focus a little more on Georgiana and Otis in that one. I think honestly that one is my least favorite. Not my least favorite, but it is probably lower on the list than the others because I see a side of Georgiana and Charlotte's relationship that doesn't sit right with me. And it's just displaying another side of Georgiana and how she needs to grow. I mean, it's the same thing where she attacks Sydney all the time, and even after he saved her from Mr. Howard, she still blames him for everything and criticizes him, and doesn't seem good. So it was just another aspect of Charlotte's character that I did not, or not Charlotte, of Georgiana's character that I did not enjoy seeing. And I just kind of felt like the relationship was more one-sided. So I think that's why that one's a little lower on my list. It's above 1, but it's still lower than the others. And I think I like all the episodes where Charlotte and Sydney get mad at each other. Yes, she did. Sarah said Crystal portrayed petulant teenager perfectly. She did, but I think she also added a nice depth and a nice layer to Georgiana's character, where it was more than just she was petulant for sure, and she was immature for sure. But there was also this aspect of grasping for meaning and grasping to be something other than a token to everybody. And I thought that the way she played that was really smart. And it was really, so even though she was being petulant and even though she was being unfair and she was being selfish, you still loved her because of those layers that she put in there. I was watching an interview. Like I said, I'm a football fan, so I like Friday Night Lights is one of my favorite shows. And Taylor Kitsch plays one of the characters on there, and he had said he was talking about a different role he played, and it was about this guy who was a little crazy. And he said, if I play this role and you of this crazy guy who did some terrible things, if you aren't conflicted by how you feel about him, if you don't feel a little more compassion for him, then I haven't done my job. And I think Georgiana has done that perfectly. Sarah says, yes, we actively saw growth with Georgiana. I would agree to that to an extent. I don't think we saw a lot of growth. I think we did see some, but not a lot. Because you see in episode 8, when Charlotte goes over there and is explaining, he said this to me, and she's like, well, what does it mean? And Charlotte's, and I'm paraphrasing here, obviously, because I haven't watched episode 8 yet. I'm waiting for the recap. But Charlotte says something along the lines of, I've been trying to think of that all night myself. And Georgiana's upset with her because you can't seriously be falling for Sydney. No, he's terrible. So I think that she still is holding tight to what she's always believed in because it's so much change. And I think that's a sign of immaturity. I do think that when we come back, we're going to see a completely renewed Georgiana. I think that 9 months where she's going to spend, I imagine that Charlotte and her are going to exchange letters, that she's going to see a different side to Sydney, even though we aren't going to see him and we aren't going to see that side. I think that all that together, like with Charlotte, because Charlotte, I mean, for as awesome as Charlotte was, she was still immature in a lot of ways. She was very, very mature, though. But there were still some aspects, like how she was with, I don't know. I feel like it's just some of the ways where she expected relationships to be, how she expected them to perform. She was a little mature, but I mean, that's understandable. She was 22, she was 22, and she'd never been outside of her home. She'd never been outside of her town. She had never been in love before. So that's understandable. But I think that Georgiana and Charlotte, in the 9 months that we don't see, I imagine them to have been writing letters and helping each other through this, because I think it's going to be hard on both of them. And I imagine we're going to see a different Georgiana when we come back. Not different, renewed. A rejuvenated one, a less immature one, a less petulant and gripey, whiny one. And I think actually the reason Georgiana says to Charlotte at one point, do you find me terribly sulky and spoiled? I think she says that because she knows she is. I mean, that's the reason she's asking. She wants someone to tell her that, no, it's okay. You're fine. I just realized that my Esther is not in the shot there. There we go. I'm going to be sad when I change up the Esther. I mean, I can keep Esther up there, but I like to change. I'm talking about those of you who can't see on Podbean, I'm talking about my Esther Denham picture behind me. So if you're on YouTube, I see that we have some new people signed in on YouTube. Feel free to comment on this. We are active on Podbean as well as YouTube. Louisa says, do you think it's possible that Theo James could return for the 3rd season? No. I think he's completely 100% done with his universe in every way. I don't think he'll be back. Lindsay said 0 chance too. Yeah, there's just, I think he was done before a lot of the fandom kind of turned on him because of the cold way that he made his exit. But certainly after that, he was really, really done. Sarah Marianne said too that he won't be back. But I'm excited to see the characters who are there. Susan said, "Hi, just woke up, thought I would join." Hey, welcome, Susan. We've got another little bit that we're gonna be on here, so you're good. We were just talking characters, talking love interests, talking what we think and things we like, talking about behind the scene photos that we liked the most, what we're most excited for. There's a balloon ride. I need to find that balloon ride thing. I'm tempted to go look it up right now, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to withhold. I'm going to be patient, sort of. I'm going to withhold. So a lot of people are looking forward to seasons 2 and 3. Obviously, the whole fandom is. I mean, this is what we worked for, right? Is this something that you guys actually thought would happen when you guys were when we were all campaigning for a continuation? Or was it something you just kind of thought, well, I'm going to keep fighting for it, but it's never going to happen? Personally, I always held the hope that there'd be a season 2, but season 3 surprised me. What about you guys? The question was, Sarah asked what the question was. The question was, for all the campaigning that we all did, for all the work we did putting into season 2 to getting a continuation, is it something that you guys just kind of fought for, hoping without kind of like saying, well, I really, really want there to be one, but I doubt they're going to do another one. I doubt they're going to pick it up again. Was that your perspective, or was it, no, they're going to give us a season 2 because we need it? I personally, I held out hope that there was going to be season 2, and in my head it was, well, how can they not? But the season 3, I was not prepared for them to have a season 3. That's a really, really fun, happy surprise. I was super excited that day. Actually, I think we did our first live that day when they came up with that, because it was Thursday, and they had said season 2 and 3, and then it was that Friday when Theo said he's not coming back, and then I think we had our first live was that Friday night. Lindsay said she thought it would happen. Marianne said, I think we all wanted to let, but Theo ended that, so I'm so happy it is coming back for 2 more seasons. But did you think they were actually ever going to do it? Sarah said, I think we all felt like Sadat was endgame, but Theo dealt us a huge blow by walking away. Production was forced to change the plan. And Susan said, you hope for more seasons beyond season 3? I mean, I think for me, part of that would be cool, but I always like the way Jane Austen finishes her stuff, and I think Jane Austen leaves her stories concluded, but still open enough that we can imagine our own ending for all the characters. So I think I'd be okay with just ending at 3. Well, of course, it depends on how they end it. If they end it the way they ended season 1, no, you're going to give me more seasons, because that's just how it's going to be. Susan also asked, do you think Charlotte will get 2 offers of marriage? I don't. What do you guys think? Well, that's an interesting question. What do you guys think? Of course, we're just speculating what they're going to do, but Marianne said yes, because they never told us to stop. What do you mean that the production team behind Sanditon never told us to stop promoting it? And then Sarah said yes, they kept telling us to fight and make noise. Oh, yeah. I knew that they wanted it, but they still had to have the money to do it. So I think for me, that was what was like, I hope so, but I don't know. Lindsay and Sarah Marianne do not think that Charlotte will get 2 offers of marriage. I don't. I think she, obviously, we already know that they're going to get 2. She's going to get 2 people interested in her, but it was very much like season 1. I mean, you had James and you had Sydney. I struggled not to call him Theo all the time now. I don't know if that's like a subconscious disconnecting him from Sydney or not, but I call him Theo all the time now. But she had James and she had Sydney, and James was, the softie, and Theo was the brooding one, and she didn't get 2 offers there. James, there was a more meek one. Oh, due to 2 seasons. I think what I hope happens is that there is a build of season 2 with those relationships, and then season 3 is where we see them kind of not compete for Charlotte, but I hope that season 3 is where we actually see relationship stuff happen. But I hope season 2 is just used as a build, as a stepping stone, because I mean, it took us obviously not that long to fall in love with Sydney, because by the end of the season, by episode 8, we were good with him, and we loved him. But I think that Lindsay wanted to talk, so Lindsay called in. What do you have to say, Lindsay? Oh, I can't hear you. Let me. Okay, I unmuted you. Can we hear you now? Nope, still can't. Well, I'm gonna leave you on there, Lindsay. And if you wanna mess with your mic or whatever, and you wanna start talking, you can go ahead and do that. You hear Lindsay? Maybe it's just me. What's going on with my stuff? Watch, I mute. Oh, I think I am muted, probably. Let me turn up my speakers. Okay. It's just me. My computer is messed up, apparently. Okay. I still can't hear Lindsay. But if you guys can, you guys respond to her in the chat. And then tell me what she's saying. Because I like that you guys have other people to talk to. I don't know why this is not functioning normal for me. Having a weird day. But that's my hope. That is my hope is that there's a build. Susan said Lindsay headset. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I think Marianne and Sarah said that they both heard her. It's just my computer is being weird. We have the difficult. Eventually, this won't be an issue, but I have to have 2 separate computers, and I have to operate the lives and all the recordings from my laptop, and then I have another computer that I have to use for editing, but that's because I don't have a solid podcasting room right now. I keep switching rooms based on if my children are awake or not. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it must be. I bet it's because. Try this. Can you guys still hear me? Oh, yep, that's why. Okay, it's because I was using my jack connector. That's why. Okay. I can hear you guys now. So, Lindsay, what were you saying that I missed?
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep, I just had I realized I had my jack plugged in weird.
Oh, no, I just wanted to join in to give more insight.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's all. I felt bad that it's just you talking, and I thought, why not hop in and give, a little more feedback.
I support that decision. Susan asked if we've talked about Lennox and Colborne. We haven't talked. We just mentioned them, but we haven't actually talked about them.
Oh no, I talk about them frequently.
Do you? See, I need to get more into that. Like, I couldn't even remember the names of the new actors because I'm slacking. I'm doing a terrible job at that. So, what do you talk about Lennox and Colborne? Like, what are your thoughts on them?
Well, really, I just want to see what the chemistry is, for one. But I'm just excited that we even have the opportunity to have more seasons, really.
Absolutely.
So whatever they had to do to create this new storyline for us to finish it out with a happy ending, no matter, who signed on and who didn't. I'm fine with that. It took me a little while. It took me about a week or so to finally get to that point. But once I got there,
it was hard for us.
Then again, I'm already a Ben fan. So yeah.
I kind of hope he's the one. Just because I know more about him than I do about Tom. So, and I really, really like Ben Hughes. I really like Ben Hughes. But
Are you in here, Sarah?
No, I'm here. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm just listening, but I agree. Ben is he's a better match, but in terms of looks with Charlotte, but I don't know. It's hard to say what direction they're going to go in.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to say
because I feel like Tom almost looks a little more like Sydney.
Really?
Not like I just feel like he's a little more broody in his looks.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I don't know.
And Theo James is very brooding.
He might have the same sort of characteristics.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah, I don't think you can hold up pictures of them and say, "Oh, twins." But
No.
I think that their acting styles and the way they give their characters the darker kind of characteristics, I think, are similar.
But you have to think, with Charlotte being older and she went through the whole heartbreak scenario, do you really think she would go in that same route again?
No, that's the other reason I think that Ben would be the better choice.
She might start out with Lennox just because he is totally a different personality. But then in her deep heart of hearts, she may come back to the whole brooding and dark and that kind of thing like Sydney was, and that would be Colborn. So I don't know. It's hard to say. Just to be different, maybe. Maybe her sister will talk her into branching out.
Mm-hmm. That's another interesting dynamic that I'm glad to see play out of how much influence her sister is going to have on what she does and what she says.
Well, in those behind the scenes, Maureen, there's a whole bunch of behind the scenes with Charlotte and her sister Allison walking along the beach in deep conversation. Okay. And you can tell on Charlotte's face that she is really still upset. So it's just hard. It's like, I don't know. When I look at those pictures, my imagination just runs. So it's like, what are they talking about? So yeah. So I do think she's going to be kind of a big, voice reason, so to speak. Yeah. With Charlotte. So we'll see.
Yeah, I saw 2 pictures of them on the beach. I only saw the 2, but there was one where they were talking, and then I think one was while they were in between shots. It was just Rose Williams instead of Charlotte was looking off into the distance. Yeah. For those of you on YouTube, Marianne said Lennox is in the militia, and Colborn comes from a prominent family that has issues.
Yeah, just the fact that Colborn coming from a prominent family with issues, that to me tells me he's going to have a dark past. He's going to try and either it'll come out or he's going to try and, hide it somehow. So it's going to be really interesting. And
I think Charlotte gravitates towards those. I think she does have a history of gravitating to the people who are more hurting, more broken. So it's a possibility. Susan said Lennox may be brash, and Colborn will be more cultured, which is accurate.
Possibly, possible. It all depends on their experience with militia and how involved that is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I think of militia, I just think of Wickham and Willoughby, but Willoughby wasn't even in the militia.
We've had that argument. I'm not gonna. It's true. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think they'll create a Wickham, but Wickham was not very cultured. So that's.
I hope not. Yeah. No.
So I think that I hope that when we first see her arrive back, I hope we see a little bit more of her, Tom, and Mary than we do of her with the guys at first. Is my hope.
I think we will. I do think we will because of all the intel and behind the scenes stuff. It seems like there could be some sort of a funeral, but I don't know that for sure.
Oh
so
no!
I'm thinking she could be coming back just to console the family and I don't know.
Who do you think the funeral is for?
It's hard. I don't know. Based on, we've kind of.
Yeah.
Based on bits and pieces of looking at script stuff. I mean, who knows? It may have changed. I don't know. That's just my assumption.
Yeah. Because I know all of us were originally talking about if they were going to kill Theo off or Sydney off. And that's what Marianne said she thinks it's Theo or Sydney.
It could be. I mean, to be honest with you, I think that's the only way the story is going to make sense if that happens. And I hate to say that because I know that's kind of an unpopular opinion, but
it's the only way that they'll stay apart and that he won't still be a factor for her.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
The only downside is it's not the happy ending that any of us wanted for that character.
No, I know that. That's why it's an unpopular opinion, unfortunately.
But there's no happy ending for him. Because he's not coming back. So his options are either death or he's stuck with Eliza for the rest of his life.
That's true.
So
well, okay, but from that perspective, as much as we love the character of Sydney, what is the lesser of those two evils?
That's exactly it. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Honestly, I think the lesser would be married to Eliza, but maybe not. It's hard. I don't know.
I think Sydney feels things so deeply, and the way he loved Charlotte was so complete. I don't know that Eliza would be the lesser two evils, but it's every other day I change my mind on which one is the lesser. So I don't know.
But honestly, I don't think I'd want to see him married to Eliza.
No.
I don't know.
No.
But I don't want him dead either. So those poor writers have such a dilemma that we all have very high expectations for that storyline.
Well, I think we were told that they're going to honor.
They did say Paula and Liam said that.
Sydney and Charlotte. So hopefully they should do him justice. So
yeah, I think they will.
Yeah.
And Susan asked, "What do you think about Tom? Will he have money troubles?" I don't think they'll play out that storyline in the same way again. I don't think they'll repeat. I think that they will probably get someone else in place to manage the money.
Yeah, I think he probably will start out coming out of his money mess.
Yeah.
But they'll figure out a way to make him not, look like he was the idiot that we all saw.
Okay. So on that note, are you guys Tom fans or are you not Tom fans?
I don't think I would say I hate him. That's a strong word, but there were some things I was just kind of like, really, Tom? I mean, definitely made me question, what was his thinking behind some of his moves or some of his lines in season 1. I was kind of like, wow, really?
Yeah.
But no, the main thing obviously was buying no insurance. So that just to me was a dumb move. But I mean, I don't know. I really would hope that in season 2, there's some way that he comes back and redeems himself somehow. Yeah. If it's not in season 2, then it continues into season 3. Hopefully. I mean, I don't know. Somebody else can talk. I don't know if Lindsay, you're in there. I feel like I'm talking all, doing all the talking.
Yeah, I am a fan of Tom's.
Yeah. I don't wish him any ill will or anything like that by any means. He does make some dumb moves, but I think deep down overall, he's a good person. So.
Right. I think ultimately it's probably one of those scenarios where he bit off way more than he can chew. And he's got such this outlook for a grander scheme than he can do on his own.
Yeah.
And what does that do to an actual person's psyche? And then what is it you're willing to give up to make that happen?
Yeah, that's a good point. The sacrifice in season 1 was major. It was huge.
Right. So, I mean, I'm always going to be disappointed in the fact that it wasn't insured, blah, blah, blah. That's its own thing.
Yeah.
But as far as looking into the future, I don't think he's a bad guy at all. Like, he's a sweet person who only wishes to benefit the town, the people, make something of himself, and even the local people.
Yeah.
I can't be mad at Tom. He's an imbecile. It's probably one of those things where, like, you want to have this big enterprise, but you don't know the logistics of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and his imbecility is brought on by the situation, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a natural
No.
way that he is. So, yeah, I agree, Linz. I agree.
Susan said that I made her like him, and Marianne said that she loves Chris Marshall and he does a great job. I personally, I love Tom. I love his character, and I think that the insurance thing did upset me for obvious reasons, the same reasons. But I was just as upset about that. Yeah. I was just as upset at him not insuring the building as I was that old Stringer stayed in the building to continue to paint it. So, for obvious reasons. But I think the more I thought about it, because I'm stupidly analytical, analyzing these characters as if they're real life people, but I think that a lot of the demands on his capital was trying to get his workers paid. So though it was a stupid move not to insure the building, I think he was desperately trying to get these men paid so they could feed their families. I think that was honestly, I think more than not having money for the building materials, more than not having money for his insurance, what he was most upset about was not being able to pay those families.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So I love him. And I think I agree with Marianne. I think Chris Marshall did a fantastic job.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, because there's a scene in season 1 where he keeps promising, payment to Stringer and the workers, and Stringer throws it back in his face and saying, these men have, mouths to feed, families to feed. So it's kind of like reality check, man.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that was the episode. That was the episode of the cricket. That was episode 5, wasn't it?
Yeah, cricket.
And that was when Sydney came into town. He said there's no money, and then right after he said no money, Tom still tried to petition him to go ask again, and that was when Sydney got mad. So I mean, his desperation certainly amped up at that point, I think.
Yes. Yep. Right before he was humiliated. Yes, that's right.
Night, Marianne.
Good night.
Susan asked, "What about Alex's character?" Which one is Alex?
You mean
Diana Parker?
Talking about Alexander Roach? Is that who you're talking about, Susan? I read Alex and I just assumed it was one of the guys.
Do you mean Blahos?
The painter.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
I forgot he existed.
Oh, I'm so excited to see him.
Me too. You can tell he's gonna be so like flashy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't wait for that storyline.
I bet Tom is gonna love his character.
Yeah, I would think also Arthur.
Yes. Man, I can't wait to see Arthur again.
Me too.
He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
When I finally did my rewatch after 4 months of not watching it, the first smile I had was the introduction of Arthur in episode 1. And my second smile was literally him in his room toasting some toast.
Shall I get you some buttered toast?
Yeah. So I'm so excited to see him back. And it's joyful, it's therapeutic, I don't know, he's just such a wonderful character.
He's so wholly good.
Yeah.
Like, I love when he goes to get Georgiana out of that room and he lies about the duck race. And when they're there and she says, you are the most infuriating man I've ever met. He's like, I'll take that as a compliment, and continue to follow her around. And he's seen as this buffoon, and he's seen as this silly, ridiculous character, but he has an innate ability to see when someone is hurting and suffering and the gumption to go and help them be pulled out of that. And I love that about his character. Susan said she wants to know if we think Edward will be up to his old tricks. Not in the same way, but I think he's still going to be a cad.
I would love to see Edward redeem himself a little bit.
I think he's not going to have a choice.
Right.
If he wants any money or any way to survive at all, he's going to have to alter something. But then, I mean, how many of us liked Edward before the end? Like, I thought he was so charming, and he was that lovable cat that I actually knew I wasn't supposed to like him, but I liked him in the first few episodes.
He's so charismatic.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And it may have been more Jack Fox than Edward because it was partially the dance moves that won me over a little bit.
Yeah.
That was one of my first smiles was Edward's dance moves in episode 1. When he kept doing this wing flapping thing and I loved it. But I think that I don't think he'll be up to his old tricks in the same way. But I think that he's like Clara. I think he has to find a way to survive without finances. So he's gonna probably have to be sneaky and a little covert about some things. But I don't think it'll be in the same malicious way that it was before. I think it's just rather than him being a jerk, I think it's gonna be about him surviving.
You think he'll have a little dose of humble cake?
Mm-hmm.
Humble pie?
Yeah, and I don't think him and Clara are fully done either. I don't know that they're going to end up together romantically, but I feel like there's going to be some way that they're going to cross paths and be forced to help each other through something.
Yeah, I think you're right. I agree with that,
Mm-hmm.
Maureen. I think you look at how they were in season 1, it's like that chemistry through their scheming, that just doesn't turn off. So
No.
I think we'll see something in season 2 where they cross paths and have to help each other out somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right. I do think you're right with that. Yeah.
I'm really curious what that's going to look like, though. I've tried to imagine it a million different times, and I can't.
Yeah.
I have all these ideas, but none of them really feel right. So I'm really excited to see what the ones who actually know. I'm really excited to see what they do with that storyline.
Let's just say we keep on hearing from the people that are actually involved, saying how much they endorse and have faith in season 2 and season 3. I think I don't know how I could not trust them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I don't think they're blowing the smoke.
No.
Yeah, they wouldn't just say that just to say it. Obviously, what they've read on script must have blown them away.
Mm-hmm.
For them to come out and say that and not have a reason behind that, I would think that would be the cruelest thing you could do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they would do that. And yeah, I think there's a reason, and I think what they're saying is very true. So
yeah,
it's just, it irks me when people don't say they're not going to give it a chance before they even know or see it.
I know, that makes me sad.
Yeah, it does too. Me too.
Yes, one character's not returning, but we still have all the so many of the other characters who we love and who it's more about are returning. And I think
the story is not about the one character.
Yeah, and I think that the other aspect is too, these actors need their shows that they're in, the movies they produce, to do well because that's their living. Yeah. They're not going to sign on to something that's crap.
Right.
And I think that the actors and the cast and crew have been so good about engaging with the fandom that they understand what the fandom needs, not just wants to see, but what we need to see and why we fought for a season 2 and a season 3. And I think that they have certainly taken that into account when they did their writing.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, they have a lot kind of writing on this, in my opinion. So.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they would just go at this, half-ass, so to speak. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a whole ton of money invested in this project, so I think they would, they obviously have to do it justice. Otherwise, what's the point?
Especially since there were 2 seasons ordered instead of 1. I mean, that's...
Yeah, that to me speaks volume.
Yeah.
They could have just said, just one more season, done. But the fact that they found enough material or, took a huge leap of faith and wanted to take the characters further than they have, that to me tells me that there's a lot of, the bigger, higher up people who really believe in this project. And so it just tells me that, with the fans involved as we were, fighting for it day in, day out, and now, you've got the production, you've got the investors, etc. There's so much love for the series. So it's like, we owe it to them to, show our appreciation and our, support to them.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Susan asked when we think we'll get a season 2. I think they said that they're shooting for January 2022.
So I think that's going to be January. Probably I have a feeling it's going to air in the UK first, but I don't know that for sure.
Well, because PBS is running it and they're an American company, I think they had said that there's a good chance it might air in the America first.
Oh,
because
okay. More than I do.
It'll be run on ITV, but they aren't the ones who are funding the project this time. It's Masterpiece and PBS.
Right. Yeah.
But there was a campaign for them to air at the same time.
Yeah, I would love that.
That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be really awesome. Because then, especially for me personally, is running this podcast and the Facebook group, how hard is it going to be for us who have seen it to not talk about it in that group?
Yeah, I'm probably going to be a good fail.
There's no way we're going to keep spoilers out of it. So I think that it would be a really big honor to the fandom if they could air at least in some way, even if it's not on ITV, but if it could air in some way in Britain at the same time that airs here, would be great, or vice versa. Susan said it will be on BritBox in the UK before ITV. Okay, but I'm looking forward to it, and I know that typically that's when PBS does air their new shows, is in January, because that's when they, for whatever reason, that's when they get the best viewership numbers.
I have to say, January is a lot earlier than what I was expecting.
Really? Why?
Well, because they are still filming.
Well, I think they've moved into season 3 now, though.
Right. But then you got to factor in, however long it takes to edit and, put in the music and voiceovers and any, what is that?
Have to film, retake a scene or something.
Retake shots. Yeah.
Well, the great thing about it being a show instead of a film is that they don't have to have the whole thing done by the time they start airing them. For our other podcasts, as we talked to cast and crew, a lot of them have said that they're still editing the rest of the season as episodes are airing in live time. So they don't have to have the entire season blocked out, finished, completely edited when they start airing it. So, there's that option too, that they might not have it fully done. But I think that I think 4 months is actually longer than they typically have to edit and finish a season. Because I feel like last year it aired in August, or not last year, but season 1, it aired in August in the UK, correct?
Yeah.
When it first aired. And I think they finished wrapping in April or May. So, it aired in August. So I think that January is a good projection. And I think that's what PBS had said that I think PBS said they hope to have it in January. So that'd be excellent, because I'm getting a little impatient.
I thought they were still filming. They're scheduled to still be filming, I think, through the end of the year.
They are with season 3, because they had said that they had gotten Liam wrapped his season 2, but Paula got the first 3 episodes, and then they'll start editing those. And I think the next 3 came not that long after. So there's 10 in each one?
No, 6.
Oh, that should take even less time than the first season. Why did I think
they're filming at a really, really fast pace.
Mm-hmm. So. Probably because the fandom would freak out if we had to wait longer while getting all this information. We're all going to revolt.
At this point, I'm kind of at the point where it's like, crap, we've been waiting this long. How it's not going to hurt to wait a few months longer.
Just make it perfect. No pressure.
Yeah, kind of. Kind of.
I just desperately need some actual behind the scenes.
Yes.
Exactly. We need
photos of our lead actors.
Yeah. We're starving for behind the scenes interviews, pictures, all that stuff. That's what we need right now.
If it makes you feel any better, I am trying to get those interviews.
I know. It'd be nice to have season 1, there was an interview on set with Alison Hammond, and then other interviews on, I think, through the BBC and something else, I forget. But it was nice to watch those just to kind of get a feel of what it's going to be like,
And those are honestly probably already completed.
Right? Say that again.
Those are honestly probably already completed, at least for season 2. And they'll probably
maybe, I don't know.
They'll likely start airing those right before, like I would guess a month before they premiere the season to promote it. They'll start airing those.
Yeah, probably.
But I do think it's really, really smart of them to continue putting up behind the scenes photos because it's almost like my 3-year-old just walked in here. You can come in here. That's fine. Come here. But I think that it's really, really wise of them. For those of you on YouTube, and well, you guys are listening, but Nora is now joining us in the podcasting room. But I think it was really, really smart of them to put up the behind the scenes photos and footage to continue to keep us interested and continue to keep us excited. There was, when you listen to some interviews that they've done in other press junkets for other movies, they are scheduled to put out trailers at specific times and they are scheduled to put out images at specific times. So it could be the same with this, that it's production saying, okay, put up these photos, do this at this time. So I think that it's scripted for them to do that so we stay excited.
Yeah, definitely. I do think there's a specific timeline they're following for all their PR and marketing, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, closer to the time, there's going to be a whole bunch of PR that's going to be coming at us. So, yeah.
I'm really excited for that.
We all are, trust me.
Like, I'm absolutely loving and so appreciative of these behind the scenes photos, but I want to hear them talk. I want those interviews. I want you to tell me what you're thinking and your real thoughts about what the season is going to be like. Yeah.
Are you asking us that?
No, I said that's what I want. I want those interviews to come out.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I would love for them to share their thoughts for sure.
And I think that Sanditon is going to have a really good opportunity in that the 6 episodes will have already aired by then. So then you're in that sweet between phase where we can kind of give hints about what's coming because they've already filmed it, but you can also then talk about what just happened on season 2.
Fingers crossed, yes.
Paula for sure will be excited to talk about that, I think.
Yes, indeed.
She loves that.
You're Paula.
I love her.
Yeah, she's our fairy godmother.
I was going to say the same thing, Sarah.
Thank you.
I've never seen someone so involved with an entire fandom before.
Well, I think she loves the series as much as we do, and she feels everything that we're feeling.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's literally been our boots on the ground from day one, and so to have her keeping us going and keeping us motivated, that to me is a huge thing. And if we, kept going without her involved or just us, I would feel bored. To be honest with you. So for her, adding her energy and her little crumbs, tidbits, whatever you want to call them, I just think that's a huge plus. So
absolutely,
super, super grateful for her.
And Susan said that she can't wait for London. So Susan, are you going to Sanditon?
Oh, is that Susan Wilson?
Yes.
Yes, she is going to Sanditon.
Okay. she's the one who's watching on YouTube. So that's who's been asking all the questions.
Oh, hi, Susan.
I like that all I said was her name, and you're like, oh, I know who that is.
Well, no, you said London, and I was like, oh, okay, that's got to be, I know who you're talking about.
She said that she would like a mini trailer, which would be good. She said hi, too.
Yeah, that would be nice. Hi.
She heard you say hi to her. Susan did, so she said hi back.
Okay.
So a mini trailer for what?
For the seasons coming up.
Yes.
That's what she's like.
Yeah, that would be the best.
I think once they get the bulk of their video in, the bulk of the film in, that they will grab clips and do something for us.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do much better than they did the first time around. I think they already kind of have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so too.
Other than lack of a better way of putting it, other than them being terrified to promote on Twitter.
Yeah.
I think the people involved have done an amazing job.
Yeah.
I agree, Liz. It totally feels different. And I think it feels like with season 1, they, you know, it was kind of relatively new, and so they were kind of not sure how to maybe plan out, you know, the PR, the marketing, all that stuff. And so they didn't do as much, or at least we didn't see a whole bunch of it.
No.
So now with season
Keep going.
2, it feels like maybe they learned their lesson, and now they want to, you know, up their game, so to speak. And it definitely feels like they've done a whole bunch more than they did for season 1 so far.
Absolutely. I didn't even hear about season 1 until after the first episode had aired. I didn't see a single thing about it.
I heard about the TCA panel in Beverly Hills, and that's how I heard about it. But that was the only PR I had seen about it online or anything. There was nothing else.
What is TCA?
In Los Angeles, Hollywood, they do a Television Critics Association panel.
Okay.
That's where they bring out all their new upcoming shows, movies, etc., that they can come and present and talk about, and people being the press can ask questions and stuff like that. But they are closed; they're not open to the public.
Okay.
So they're somehow somebody on the front of that TCA panel put pictures online, so I was able to see those pictures on Google or something like that. So
okay.
So yeah, that's what they do. They just did it a month or so ago.
Oh.
For all the new stuff coming out, you know, for fall, winter time, and beginning of next year. And there was a little bit of talk about Sanditon, but not a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Yet. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I barely do any real TV. I do a lot of streaming, and there was nothing streaming about Sanditon that I had seen on Hulu or Netflix or Amazon or anything. And then I hadn't seen anything online. And then my daughter happened to be watching PBS, and I saw a commercial on PBS. What is this?
That's how I saw it. That's how I came to it also. It was through an ad on PBS. And I was like, oh, what is this? So, yeah, that's how I was glued onto it. I didn't see any ads before that. So it was kind of a huge surprise when I came across it.
Yes. Happy one. But it was that for me, it was the week that it aired was when I saw the ad.
I think me, it was like maybe a few weeks before airing, something like that.
So they've definitely done a better job. Were you?
Really?
Yeah, I blame it on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think I was watching
either.
I was watching Downton Abbey clips, and then all of a sudden that whole you might be interested in things that pop up.
Yeah.
And that's when Sanditon came up, and I watched the trailer for it. I'm like, holy smokes!
Hooked right from the trailer too. The trailer looked so good. I was surprised it wasn't out there more.
Totally hooked.
I was. Yes, indeed. I mean, how can you not be? Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
With the carriage going into town. Oh yes. Yep. Yeah. We need that season 2.
So Maureen, you haven't rewatched season 1 since the Renewal announcement?
Oh no, I've watched it a couple times since then, but
Oh, you have?
It's since May. I haven't. Well, I guess not. It's since we started our other podcast. I haven't watched it in full. I watched it episode by episode because I run another podcast where we post twice a week, and I do all the producing and the editing and all that stuff. So I haven't had time to watch it, but I do watch it before we do our recaps. So I've only been doing. I think I've seen it all the way through 10 different times. I think. But then I just do a refresher when I do the recaps.
Do you view it differently ever since the Renewal?
No, not really. Because I think I'm a little bit more sad that I'm not getting certain aspects of it again because Theo James is not coming back. So watching it from the beginning to the end, knowing that relationship is going to end and it's going to be permanent end, it's a little more sad. But I still overall I view it largely the same as I did the first 2 times I watched it. But when I rewatch something on repeat, every time I rewatch, I'll pick a different thing to focus on. So I analyze it a little bit more, but I don't. Overall, the feeling is the same. What about for you guys?
Mom, do you have a gum?
Yes, I have gum.
No, absolutely. With to me, like I think a whole bunch of us, when I obviously right after we got the announcement, we were all just like devastated. So so for me, I had to take like my weeks to process and naturally move on or forward before I could even think about watching. But now I'm at a point where, you know, we've been talking about it, hearing everybody's different thoughts and feelings and all that stuff. But now I'm at a point, I haven't watched it since the announcement either. So I'm at a point now where I can watch it. And I think, as I know Lindsay just watched it, I think it will be a therapeutic watch. Where I, you know, initially, yes, I was upset with Theo for what he did. But I think now I've processed it to the point where, you know, the show is still a beautiful show regardless.
Yeah.
So I think I can view it from that standpoint. I'm not gonna be the type of person who will watch it and, you know, be holding a grudge because we didn't get what we wanted. So that's kind of that's where I'm at now. So I told people I was going to try and watch it this weekend, but plans got away from me. So now I'm at a point where I'm probably going to watch it and just watch it from that standpoint of the fact that it is a beautiful show. And, you know, and it's not about that character. It's about the entire town. So, so that's where I'm coming from. Now I see it that way. Whereas before I put a lot of, you know, feeling into that character. But now my vision has, you know, gotten bigger and I can see it from a fuller picture. So, so now I'm going to probably watch it again from that standpoint.
That makes sense. Yeah, because there's so much beautiful character development in each character that appears in that show.
Yeah, exactly.
I was really surprised how my reaction to watching it again after knowing, you know, we weren't going to get that Sid Lot happily ever after. I was devastated. Blah blah blah. I said some awful things. You know, really, like I said some really terrible things about, oh, I could never watch it again, and you ruined it for me, and like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, when I finally got past that, and it hit that 4-month mark of when we got our renewal, like we saved the show.
Right.
Is when I woke up and I was like, you know what? Let me give this a shot. Let me see if I can look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I first saw Sydney's character in episode 1, my heart raced a little bit. I was a little, like, upset. That subsided. And then after that, I realized how beautiful the story really is.
Yeah.
Like, that side, it's a fantastic story.
Absolutely.
Characters, the music, everything. Like, I missed it.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it for 4 months because I was trying to preserve my own well-being, thinking not watching the series I loved so much that got me through such a terrible time. You know, once I actually got past that, it's still beautiful.
Yeah.
It's still a fantastic story with great characters. I still love Sydney's character. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And the more I watched it, the more I realized I'm excited to see what happens next.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the fandom helped save the show.
That right there is awesome.
I know,
right?
That's what helped me get through that.
Yeah.
And still, like, I can listen to the music and my feet tap to the beat and I smile at the characters. And
it's like coming home a little.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely therapy. It's therapeutic.
And
all those.
Yes. I really missed that.
Mhm.
I cut myself off from that for 4 months.
Yeah.
And once I let myself get to that again, it's not that just because this character is not returning,
Right.
it did not change how beautiful the first season was.
Yeah.
No. Right. Agreed. Yeah. Yeah.
And that made me feel so much better because I still tear up. I still was upset at the end of episode 8 because
Oh, yeah.
how could you not?
Yeah. Right. How can you not?
But then watching Charlotte in that carriage, I felt a different viewpoint
Mhm.
Right.
of
Yeah.
what happens next.
Yeah.
Like what can we do with her?
Mhm.
And what storyline can we go through with her?
Yeah.
And I'm more than ready now after actually watching it again.
Yeah.
To prepare myself to go through that journey with her.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
it made me all the more excited to see
Yeah.
what happens next.
I will say about my rewatch with it though that's a good point because at that end scene when we see Charlotte and she's no longer you see her crying at first thing on the window, but then at the end she kind of looks forward. There's it's almost like you can sense something else that's awakening. There's a different fire that's coming in her now. When I look at it, and of course, it wasn't necessarily like that when they wrote it because they didn't know if they were coming back at all.
Right.
But I can see that now when I look at it, that there's a determination in her to not let this derail everything that she is.
Yeah.
And that's kind of exciting to see that play out that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I've been contacted by a couple people that have said that they just can't watch the next season because it's going to be too hard. And I've heard from people who say that, it doesn't make a difference if he's there or not. And so it's interesting how much people connected with this show to affect them in such a deep way. And that's just good writing. I mean, it's good writing. It's good characters. It's a good foundation that Jane Austen laid. That's all credit to that.
Yeah.
And to acknowledge that means that you have to acknowledge that seasons 2 and 3 are going to be phenomenal because there's many of the same writers returning.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're going to head off here in a minute.
Yeah, I was just going to say I have to jump off and eat some dinner. So
yes.
I'm on the West Coast,
so I'm Midwest, so we've got school in the morning. But Susan had said that PBS will have Drama After Dark where it gives a breakdown. Which would be good if they did that for Sanditon. I don't know if she's saying that's just for Sanditon or PBS, but then she also said goodnight. So on that note, I think we're gonna head out, and next week we're talking just Esther. Yep, I think it's Esther next week, or a recap, and then Esther. So I'm really excited about that.
Esther is fierce. I love Esther.
I think my unpopular opinion is I like her better than Charlotte. She's my favorite character in the whole show.
Well, I don't. I mean, Charlotte's not developed yet enough. So I think, Esther, I think, has a little bit more life experience.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
So I look at her from that standpoint, and I see that fierceness from that standpoint.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's Esther heavy coming at everybody, and I think that we are going to say goodnight. And thank you guys for joining me and for coming on and talking with me. I really appreciate it.
Good night.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.
And for those of you on YouTube, thanks for joining in. Make sure to watch and tune in next week. And we'll see you then. Bye-bye.